Welcome to the Coastal Kitchen. I'm Karen Mashures, and I have a real treat for you today. I have a wonderful restaurant that I love in Little River, the Brentwood, and their chef and owner, Eric Masson, is here with recipes for you on this show. Eric, come on in.
Yes, bonjour Karen. How are
Nice
you?
to have you here. Nice to have you.
Well, thank you for having me. It's a beautiful kitchen. I thought my kitchen was big. Look at this.
Well, we've got a real treat. Eric's going to start with creme brulee. So I'm going to let you take it away.
All right. Well, thank you, Karen. So today we're going to do a classic creme brulee à l'orange. Of course, we're going to look at all the ingredients. We have some cream here. We need a cup. We have some milk. We have the orange, of course, and then some sugar and some eggs, the basic ingredient for the creme brulee. So first, we're going to want to clarify those eggs and separate the yolk and the egg whites. Now, we only need the yolk for the creme brulee, and that's what makes the difference between the creme brulee and something like a flan or creme caramel. But you can always keep the white, and if you want to do some meringue, for example, or sometimes I use it to do the soufflé. That works very well too. Just be careful with the eggshell, but I'll show you a little trick later to get rid of the eggshell if some of them fell off, you know, in the preparation. So we need 5 egg yolk for the creme brulees. Here it is, just like that. And then when that's ready, we can start with the liquids. So we're going to mix the milk, 1 cup of milk, with the cream. Here it is. And then we're going to infuse the orange. So you want a nice orange. It's important to wash the orange under warm water, and then can dry it like this. It removes. Sometimes they put a little bit of it could be chemicals or preservatives on the orange. So it's important to wash it, and then we're going to grate the orange. And I think here it is. Those are the microplane. Those works really good. You can, if you don't have one of those, you can chop the rind, you know, do it by hand. But this works so well. And then how you do is just gently scrape, just as that. You don't want to get into the white skin because it is a little bitter. And see how nice it works, just like that. And try to get the full orange. So when that's done, we're going to bring that to a boil. Just a boil. So actually just before a boil, like a simmer. We don't want to overboil it, and definitely not want to burn it. And then while this is going to bring to a boil, we're going to use our yolk. And then we're going to blanch the yolk with the sugar. So we're going to need a 1/4 cup. There we go. So it's important to blanch the yolk. Now, as soon as you put the sugar in the yolk, you want to start with the whisk and you want to blanch it, because otherwise the sugar is going to cook the yolk, and you're going to have little piece of almost scrambled eggs. So that takes a little bit, and the blanch term, actually blanchir in French, means that you know, you're starting with kind of a yellow color, and as you stir the sugar with the yolk, it's going to actually become paler and paler until it gets a little whiter, and that's the blanch. That's how you blanch it, and that's what makes the custard silky, so nice. So it takes a few minutes. So there you go. So see, now it actually gained a little volume, and it's definitely almost white. So we're ready, and actually perfect timing. Our milk and cream is just start to boil, and then so now it's important to tamp the custard. So what we're going to do, instead of, we don't want to put everything at once because that would, and we end up with scrambled eggs. So we want to just put a little bit at a time, whisk it, that's a little more. There it is, and then some more, and now we're good. Perfect. Okay, and as you see that, there's going to be some bubbles that's going to take place on top of the custard. That's okay. I'll show you later how to get rid of them. And now, so the orange zest has infused in the milk, but we want to remove it. We don't need to have be chewing on death. All we needed was the fragrance. So that's where we use our strainer, and we're going to strain this custard just like that. There it is. So now for the ramekins, you can find two kinds of ramekins. Those are the shallow ramekins. They're about 4 ounce. And then you have the larger one, a little bigger but not as deep. And then we can pour the custard in each ramekins. You can fill, those are 4 ounce, so you can fill it up pretty much to the top. And so we're going to cook those crème brûlées at 300 degrees in the oven. But they cook au bain-marie. So what that means is we're going to pour some water, preferably hot water. So I had some water here that's hot, and we take out one of the ramekin, put the water very carefully. We don't want to put the water in the crème brûlée, of course, and we're going to bring that about halfway to the ramekin. Here it is, and now we're ready to bake those crème brûlées. Is it this one right here? It's a nice kitchen. I really like it.
Now, Eric, these stay in for how long?
So those are going to take about 45 minutes.
Okay.
At 300 degrees, 45 minutes to an hour, depending on the size of the ramekin. And so what's important to do is after about half an hour, you want to open up your the oven, and you want to check. And then so an easy way to do this, is you would... you could take a little knife, something like that, and then you kind of push, and you see if the custard is still jiggling, that means it's still liquid, so it's not cooked yet. Eventually, it's going to start to cook on the outside, and then as soon as you see that the whole thing it's holding, it's not jiggling anymore, that means it's cooked, and you want to remove them, and as soon as possible, and they have to cool for about 2-3 hours, before you can enjoy them.
All right. Well, that's great. That was a wonderful recipe. Crème brûlée is one of my favorite desserts. I absolutely love it. But we're going to take a break right now, clean this up, and come back with Eric and his next recipe. I'd also like to take this time to thank our new sponsor and welcome them to the Coastal Kitchen, Lowe's Foods. Eric, let's clean up and get ready for the next recipe.
Let's do it.
Okay.
When you start with local produce, add some homegrown Carolina pride, and mix it all with a commitment to family, you get more than a locally based grocery store. You get the taste of home. Lowe's Foods. Lowe's Foods, proud sponsor of the Coastal Kitchen and ATM CTV.
Welcome back to the Coastal Kitchen. I have Chef Eric Masson with me, and we are making some snapper. And I'm going to get that out of the refrigerator right now while Eric tells you all about his recipe.
Yes. Bonjour again. So we're doing the snapper, and I really like the local snapper, the Vermillion snapper. Here it is.
Okay.
And it's fresh. It's beautiful fish.
Yep, got it from the market, and it is gorgeous.
And it's the same snapper that you can find in the south of France, in the Provence region that everybody know, everybody enjoy. And so I'm gonna make it the typical Provence recipe. So we're gonna take care of that snapper but we'll start with the ratatouille.
Okay, Eric. I'm going to be watching, okay?
Yes. So the ratatouille, you know, it's a classic recipe from the Provence region, and it has the same ingredients, that you find in late summer and early fall. So we have some onion, we have some garlic, of course. You know, we have the red and green peppers. We got the yellow squash, the eggplant, the zucchini. We have some fresh thyme and some fresh basil, and the tomato, which will start with the tomato. So we need to remove the skin of the tomato, and it's called mondé, and it's a technique most people know, but if you don't know, then you'll learn something. You know, we take out this part here, and then after we do like a little cross there in the back like this, you know, and then this tomatoes, we're gonna put it in boiling water just for a few seconds, and then we're gonna bring that to a boil. Here it is. Yeah, it's for about 20-30 seconds, and what it's going to do is it's just going to boil the tomato, and it'll make it easy to remove the skin. In the meantime, we can start with the peppers. Beautiful red peppers. Look at this. The market. So there's a lot of cleaning. We're going to remove the seeds. Like this. Go. And then after we'll cut everything. We got a red pepper right here. Same thing. Remove the seeds. Here it is. Well, I think our tomato is ready, so we can put it out just on the other side. There you go. So remove it out of the water, and now you'll see it'll be easier to peel. See the skin now comes right off, because we don't want the skin of the tomato in the ratatouille. If you could, no, you don't have to do it, but if you can do it, that's even better. You see how it's easy to remove now. And we didn't cook the tomato; it was just enough time to get the skin off. Here it is. And then so we can start to chop our peppers. So we want little cubes of tomatoes, about 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch. It would be the mirepoix, so that's the size. You know, different cut of vegetables have different name. If you have the very tiny one, that's the brunoise, that very tiny cubes. If you're doing the little string, then that's the julienne. And if you're doing like a rough cut like this, bigger cubes, about 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch, that's the mirepoix. And the mirepoix usually it's the trinity, it's called, so the onion, the celery, and the carrots, of course. So we got our mirepoix peppers here, and I think that would be plenty. Now we can cut the tomatoes. Tomatoes, we want to cut it first in half, and we're going to squeeze it to remove all the seeds, or at least as much as possible. And then same thing, we can cut that little cubes. All right, so we're going to cut all those vegetables into a mirepoix, and then we'll start to cook them. All right, so that's all for the vegetables. We have all our vegetables ready now. So we're ready to cook all the vegetables for the ratatouille.
Now, Eric, you're going to use a Dutch oven, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, you know, my grandmother gave me her Dutch oven, and it's a creuset. And it's the best. There's a French expression that goes, it's in the best. It's in the oldest pot that you make the best soup. You know. So,
That's
but I
very true.
Yeah. So we're gonna start. There it is. The Dutch oven. So this is perfect because the heat is in the Dutch oven. You know, being cast iron. You know, all the heat goes around. And it cooks perfectly for the soup or the stew or a dish that's kind of a vegetable stew, you know, like the ratatouille. So we'll start with the olive oil. Being a dish from Provence, of course, you want to use a lot of olive oil. It's really nice and healthy. And we're going to start with cooking the garlic and the onion together.
Is this on medium heat?
Yeah, medium heat. You don't want to, especially when it comes to the garlic. You know, you want to caramelize the onion a little bit, but you certainly don't want to burn the onion. You know, or the garlic. When it burns, it gets bitter, and it's not very good. So
wonderful. I'm gonna let you keep going here.
Yes. So here we go. Onion are coming out good. I'm gonna bring that down a little bit, and then so next vegetable now is the eggplants, and we're going to put some thyme with this. There we go. We add the eggplants, so we're going to same thing. We're going to saute the eggplants with the onion for about 5 minutes. We put a little fresh thyme. Any dish from Provence, there's going to be some thyme involved. There's going to be some garlic, there's going to be some tomato, there's going to be fresh thyme involved. And it's all those flavors, you know, that concentrate when you saute them in olive oil, they're going to come together at the end in this dish. Next we have the peppers. And it's always a good idea, you can add a little bit of olive oil throughout the cooking process. And this is extra virgin olive oil, so it just doesn't get any better than this. It's a beautiful dish. It is so very healthy, and the colors are fantastic. Then we can add the zucchini, the zucchini, and yellow squash, summer squash. We'll season a little bit too with some salt and pepper. It's always a good idea to season throughout the cooking process. Just a little bit every time instead of a lot at the end. So we're just going to let those vegetables cook, then we'll get to the next part. So we're ready to add the tomatoes and the basil. And we have some beautiful fresh basil right here. So we're going to just chop that a little bit. So we want to add the tomatoes and the basil at the end because they don't take as much time to cook. Here it is. And the tomatoes is going to bring out some juice as well. And so now we can put the cover on top. And we're going to cook that just low heat now for another 5 minutes or so. All right, during that time, we can start to get ready with our fish. So here it is, the snapper, fresh local snapper. So just ask your fish market or your fishmonger, to take the fillet, but leave the skin, because the skin is actually delicious if you can get it crispy. So we're going to work on that. What we need to do is we're going to dry up the fillet. We use a clean rag, and then just try to get that moisture out of the fish. So when we cook it, we get a nice crispy skin. There it is. And then we're going to score the fish. So with a little knife, a little sharp knife, to just enough in the skin, not too deep, of course, just a little mark like this. There you go. By using just the tip of the knife, it makes it easier. And what it does, it helps getting that skin crisp, and it helps cooking the fish as well. Do the same thing on the other fillet. It is. We can season now the fish with the salt and pepper on both sides. A little salt, a little pepper. Always important to season, the fish throughout the cooking. And actually I'm going to cut those in half because they're pretty big. That'll be enough for 4 people. There you go. I'll get the pan ready. All right, so we want the pan to be as hot as possible. And what we're going to do is we're going to cook it with olive oil, of course, being a dish from Provence. Skin first, and then we're going to apply just a little pressure on the fish so we can get that skin to get crispy. All right, well, the pan is getting hot. Let me get a plate. There we go. And we're ready to cook the fish. Oops. All right. So we need the pan to be as hot as possible, and we'll get the olive oil in there. It's going to smoke a little bit. We'll start with the first fillet. We can cook 2 at a time, like this. And then so we apply a little bit of pressure on the fish. You can use even a pan here. I got a pan right here. There you go. So just put a little weight on the fish, and that gives the chance for the oil to cook the fish and get that skin crispy. That's what makes it delicious. It's about 3 minutes on one side and about 2 minutes on the other side.
Okay, Eric, while that's cooking, I'm going to check the creme brulee. It smells wonderful. Let me get that out because I think it's just about ready. Let me jiggle. Okay, it's set. I'm going to put this right here. And we'll be back in just a few minutes because we're going to plate everything and let you see how beautiful this meal is going to turn out to be.
When you start with local produce, add some homegrown Carolina pride, and mix it all with a commitment to family, you get more than a locally based grocery store. You get the taste of home. Lowe's Foods. Lowe's Foods, proud sponsor of the Coastal Kitchen and ATM CTV.
Welcome back. We're getting ready to do our creme brulee. We're going to finish it off. Show me how, Eric.
Yes. All right, well, they're perfectly cooked. Get them out of the water.
There, I've got a plate for you.
And then we're going to sprinkle some sugar on top to do that brulee. Like this. Spray it out. There you go. We got that nice little torch. And so gently, we're cooking the sugar. Usually I do it around like this, and then I go towards the middle.
It's turning golden. Absolutely golden. Can't wait to get my spoon in there.
Yeah, and this is the thing about the creme brulee is you have that the caramelized sugar on top. It's almost like an icing that you have to break, to get into the custard.
Right. This would go into the refrigerator for about 45 minutes before this process, though. Isn't that right?
That's right. Yeah, you want to let it cool the creme brulee down, and then
There we go.
And then be careful because it's hot. We'll put it right here, and then so let it cool down for 45, to an hour, and then after you could do the caramel on top.
Ah, absolutely smells terrific. Take a peek at that. Okay, we're going to finish this up. Let's go take a peek at our red snapper.
All right, so the snapper is all cooked.
Let me grab you a plate here. Let's put it all together for me.
All right, so our ratatouille is ready. And it smells delicious.
All those flavors melding together. Smells fabulous.
So a good amount of ratatouille. And then put the fish on top.
Okay.
And then I'm going to quickly saute the Kalamata olives. And I've cut them in half like this, just to bring them to temperature.
That adds a really distinct flavor to any dish. I love Kalamata olives.
But you can use any kind of black olive. The niçoise works really good. What's nice about the Kalamata is you can find them peated, so you don't have to worry about chewing in a pit. That can be dangerous. And you saute them, you concentrate the taste even more, and it gives a nice shine. We're using the same pan that we saute the fish into. And then I like to arrange them on top of the fish, on top of the snapper like this. Give it a nice little design for presentation.
Looks gorgeous.
So we'll put 4 or 5 olive like this. There you go. There it is.
Okay, a little bit of parsley.
A little fresh parsley. There it is. That's perfect. Look how beautiful that is.
All right, we're ready. Oh gosh, isn't this gorgeous? Absolutely gorgeous. All right, Eric, thank you so much for joining us on the Coastal Kitchen. Pinot Grigio is the wine to go with this snapper. And remember, you can find us on Facebook. Just search for the Coastal Kitchen. And stop by the Brentwood. Don't forget, Little River, South Carolina, Eric Masson. Again, thank you.
Merci. À bientôt.